Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and coming up in today's bulletin, 8-hour ordeal, hook, line and sinker, Founders Historical Village Museum, Weekend's Victorian dressed up affair, a local pioneering link to Lord of the Rings footage. A Nelson fisherman was left hanging onto a capsized boat hull for over 8 hours on the weekend. The fisherman Tony Peter Phillipson was also the skipper of the fishing vessel the Alfred that in 2006 hit a barge off Port Tirakoe, causing the death of his crew member whose trapped leg caused him to go down with the boat. Phillipson was making a cup of tea at the time of the collision and could now once again find himself the focus of a New Zealand maritime safety investigation. His latest fishing vessel, Miss Otago, was involved in an incident near Crusoe's Harbour when he was out commercially fishing alone on Saturday, November the 20th. According to sources in the industry, the skipper, Mr. Phillipson, was cooking breakfast when a freak wave flipped the boat, leaving him clinging to the capsized hull for 8 hours until the boat drifted close enough to shore for Phillipson to swim to land, where he sought help from a local resident. Tony Phillipson is certainly no stranger to dealing with maritime authorities. In a ruling in 2005, Phillipson was fined $15,000 for operating a commercial scallop dredge in Marlborough Sounds Marine Reserve. Then in 2007, Phillipson was again fined more than $20,000 for using a trawl net in the Separation Point closed area. During this judgment, Judge Zorab said it was gross carelessness that was symptomatic of other things happening in Phillipson's life, although that was not an excuse. In the 2006 case where a crew member's life was lost, Maritime Safety Authority lawyer Robert Stewart told the court that Phillipson had failed to keep a proper watch and did not display the standards of a reasonably competent skipper in the safe operation of a commercial vessel. According to Marlborough Harbour Master Alex Weingarten, Phillipson has lodged a report of this latest incident with Maritime New Zealand. We were unable to contact Phillipson for comment. Nelson's Historical Village Founders has launched a new beer and hop museum, with an opening taking place on Tuesday morning, which was officiated by Nelson Mayor Rachel Reese. This latest attraction for Nelson, the Hop and Beer Museum, had many volunteers who had helped make the museum development possible. This new exhibition was officially opened with a ribbon cutting by the Mayor and Founders volunteer bookie Murray Ferrant. I went and spoke with the Mayor and the people who made it happen. We're lucky enough to have the Mayor here out of her busy schedule. Mayor, it's fantastic that we've got another great exhibition in Founders. How do you feel like this raises it for the city?
Oh, Graham, I think this is a great addition to Founders. I mean, this is telling us the story of our region. We have 170 years of hop growing and craft beer brewing. So well done to Founders. I couldn't think of a better home for the exhibition, and I've just been through. It's really worth a visit. Fantastic history, and of course sitting alongside one of our oldest brewers, craft brewers in the region. You can come down, enjoy the museum, and then stop next door for a drop of the good stuff. So yeah, perfect.
And what better way to spend a day?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nelson has certainly got that great history and heritage that we want to celebrate, and that's what Founders is about. But it's about living heritage, and that's what I really like about Founders. It's a place where you can engage with history. You can come here, you feel very welcomed, and I just have to take my hat off to those who've been involved in this exhibition because it's extremely good.
It's fantastic to see the volunteers doing such a great effort.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I mean, we really enjoy the interaction that we have with the volunteers, and on behalf of the city, today was an opportunity to thank all of the volunteers that make Founders thrive and flourish, and they do it with a real warmth and love for the place, and you can see that.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Sally, was it hard to get this project underway?
Oh, no, it was a really good project. You sort of start off getting to go and do research, which means going out to the breweries and checking them all out and seeing how they work, which is really interesting. I really enjoy that part of the job. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It wasn't too hard to go and visit all those breweries?
Oh, no, we pretty professional, so there's no beer tasting involved. Yeah, just I like to know how things work, really. Yeah.
Fantastic. And to raise the money for all this, how was that? How did that come about?
That was all down to the bookies, which is a pretty amazing effort, really. Yeah.
And we'll call them the bookies. So we've got Murray over here who's in charge of the books at Founders. So how did you come about raising funds for all this?
Well, we have our annual book fair, which starts Queen's birthday each year and runs for 9 days. And we thanks to the generosity of Nelson, we have a lot of books given to us to turn into money for the park, and we like to see it spent on physical. And initially we were doing up the dunnies and the kitchens and that, but now we've made this magnificent museum piece, and I think it's going to be a real added attraction to the park. And we as bookies will all get a bit of feel good every time we walk past it, because we help raise the money for it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a bit hard to take great pride in laying pavings or having a look at, oh, that's a nice clean dunny we built there.
Yeah, exactly, because we always get asked during the book fair when we're sort of making our 120,000+ what's all the money going to, and in the past we had this on these more mundane topics but very essential for the park, and now we've got the basic structure of the park tidy. We can add these really nice attractions to add to the whole park experience.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. It's a great job, and I know the book fair, we come down and get lots of books every year for my daughter and my family, and we can't wait to come through all the new museums. Thanks very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
The Department of Conservation has moved 3 dead sperm whales that stranded in Golden Bay last weekend to Farewell Spit Nature Reserve. The 3 whales stranded overnight last Saturday and were found dead on the beach on Sunday morning. Greg Knapp, Partnerships Ranger at Takaka, said that sperm whales are not very common in Golden Bay, so it offered a good opportunity for people to come and see them up close. Over 500 people visited the sperm whales on the beach last Sunday. The whale carcasses were towed by boat across in a slow journey to Farewell Spit Nature Reserve, where they have now been tethered to an anchor in the intertidal zone, well beyond the public access area, where they will be able to decompose naturally. Local iwi were assisting the department with tikanga and decision making. Whale strandings in Golden Bay commonly occur between November and March each year. This week, Mainland visited one of the hidden gems of Nelson, a DIY inventor entrepreneur by the name of Adrian Kingsford, who has had a pioneering role behind the scenes in the Sir Peter Jackson's classics, The Lord of the Rings. We sent James down to find out more.
So Adrian, you've been designing, building and flying these aircraft for quite a while now, and heard you did one of your planes was used for Lord of the Rings. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, well, the aircraft in question is called the Phoenix, and Peter Jackson's engineer, Scott Herons, is at the top of his game. He actually ended up walking on the red carpet, which is quite something for Kiwis, isn't it? So that's my only small claim to fame there. But no, I provided him with the design, which is the smaller variant of the one I've got here. And he used it for telemetry testing and some filming. It's pretty open-ended, as you can imagine, but it's the only one of its kind in the world, as far as I know. And, as far as Kiwis goes, well, I was sort of likened to the old Burt Munro, and if anybody's seen the movie, you'll understand how challenging it can be as a designer. But that's a small claim to fame with the Phoenix.
Oh, awesome. So what kind of aircraft have you actually made then?
Over 300. The last 2 that I've got in the shed, which we may see soon, of course, is hand launchable. It's really flying well. The stability is the most important thing, and I call it sort of the enviroplane, because I'm hoping obviously to use that plus 1 or 2 other new designs to take to schools, to get some sort of educational thing going. And there's not many kids, I think, in New Zealand who lack the inspiration from specialists. So that's where my passion's going to head in one avenue. Yep. Many other designs, of course, different variants, but the means to an end, it's all about getting high quality, interesting, eye-level shots. And I'm talking shots that can't be done from any other design.
Oh, awesome. So does that mean that these things can be done like any environment, or is there particular ways that you've got to go with them?
Well, one of them, for instance, I want to try and do a demonstration, get in contact with Doc. Up around the Nelson Lakes would be an example I can think of, a location where waterways, although we've got this, generally speaking, a clean green image in New Zealand, we've got problems. So I see my designs as actually being a very useful tool for the future. And it won't be just me that'll be flying them, hopefully, but educating and training young people would be a wonderful goal to achieve. Yeah, using them for an enviro-friendly sort of concept, sure.
And so have you been managing to make money off this, or is it more just a hobby for you?
No, it's always been a hobby. We were, at the time the Serbs and the Croats went to war, we don't know how they got our fax number, but suddenly a fax appeared from this general or somebody or other, and he was offering us a great deal of money for one of the aircraft, which now, of course, if you put technology on, they're known as drones. But no, Hugh and I only use these for peaceful means, aerial photography, that's still photography, videography and some film work. And we like to think that the application will always be peaceful, sure.
So could people use your services if they wanted?
Yeah, there's no question there's a lot of potential still for the designs that I've come up with. They're not like quadcopters, and of course being a responsible designer and pilot, I'm an ex-junior Air Force pilot, and you know, you've got to be very careful with the airwaves these days. One of my old friends, for instance, Dave Moore, former ATC traffic controller at Nelson, he and I get together now and then, and I sort of brush up on things to make sure that we're not flying in the wrong places. Always get permission if you're going to be wanting to go somewhere near a city, for instance. Very important. Yep.
Well, you definitely don't want them to get them shot down or anything.
No. And I think that the draw factor, especially for young children with a project like this, you know, I'm a former teacher, so you mentioned about money. No, but to get some sort of a grant, maybe an educational course going, which is something I'd really like to get support for, sponsorship in other words, to teach people how to design and build. Putting in a plug for my late father, Hugh Kingsford. Right, he was a master photographer, master model builder, and he taught me everything he knew about these. So the thing is, I think there's probably a lot of dads and kids out there who would like to get their hands going on something new. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it all sounds really interesting. I really think people should check it out if they can. And thank you for your time for this interview.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to come from Mainland. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure.
What do volunteer organisations, Victorian costumes and fundraising have in common? I spoke to Debbie Brooks to find out. We've got Debbie here who's organising a fundraiser called Humbugs and Hullabaloo, and she's here to tell us why she's dressed in this amazing costume and what it's all about. Debs, can you tell us?
Well, we're putting on a huge fair at Fairfield House, myself and another lady called Sharon Page Morton, who is Creative Occasions in the Party Shop in Nelson. We're getting all dressed up, big prizes for those who want to come and make the atmosphere of our show and fair brilliant. We've got loads of entertainment, lots of stuff for the kids. It's a real family fun day out, and that's the aim. The other thing behind it is we want to have a lot of community spirit, so we're supporting the Coast Guard and fundraising for the Coast Guard. We've got Men's Shed coming and going to promote their wonderful community forum for men and their sheds, boys with their toys. They're going to run a cool man cave for us, so a chill out zone for men. And we've just got a whole heap of entertainment from all the local community who have, I mean, they've been absolutely brilliant. They've been enthusiastic, they've been really supportive of us, loads of kids performing, some professionals performing, we've got circus, we've got singing, we've got dancing, there's masses of stuff for the children, Sprat the Rat, the Coconut Shy, lots of stalls for people to sit and enjoy, food, what more could you ask for? Dawdle, take your time, spend time with your family, bring granny, bring mum and dad, don't lose dad at the man cave. And just a really, really good day out for the whole family. But the main emphasis is it's a community thing which we want to grow and put on year, and again involve more and more community groups and community issues, so that we can be part of what is Nelson, which is really a funky, arty place which is around the community. And what's special in our community is, of course, everyone who lives here.
That's fantastic, Debbie. So you're fundraising, you're organising this to fundraise for the organisations,
Yes.
volunteer organisations in Nelson.
Yeah, so as I say, in the future we hope to grow that aspect of this show, event really, and bring in more and more community based groups to be able to fundraise on that day, but just to be a really fun and funky thing, fun way for people to meet those groups and to interact with them. So people get to know what's available in their area.
Fantastic, and it'll be a great day with everyone dressed up like this. I can't wait to go there. So it's Fairfield this Sunday from 10 o'clock.
Yes, And just to make it really special, we've got Leonard, the vintage bus, running from the Youth Hostel Association in Rutherford Street. That runs all day long. It's $2 for adults, nothing for under 12s. And we want people to really use that bus. Come up on Leonard, enjoy the fun of the day, come up on that vintage bus and come home full of beans and bounce, and hopefully you've bought a few Christmas presents as well.
Excellent, fantastic. And we'll see you there on Sunday. Top of the South local heroes were honoured for the services to the community this week, with one Nelson man named as a local hero. The awards are part of the Kiwi Bank New Zealander of the Year Awards 2015, and 12 selected people were presented with their awards at a special medal presentation ceremony held at Seifried's Estate Wines. These awards are now in their 6th year and are a way to show an appreciation for everyday people doing exceptional things. Ian Price was the only Nelsonian named as one of the 12 from across the top of the South Island. He was recognised for his efforts as a coordinator for Forest and Bird, with his efforts to lead in the development of the 35-hectare nature reserve at Parramatta Flats. The retired farmer and property developer has been spearheading the ambitious restoration project since 2011. He dedicates up to 3 full days a week planting, undertaking weed and pest control, collecting eco-sourced seeds and managing volunteer planting days. This is all in addition to the time he spends on administration and fundraising. Although it will take 100 to 200 years for the forest to reach maturity, the benefits of Ian's work and the restoration can already be seen. Nelson City Councillor Brian McGurk was on hand to present the medals, congratulating the recipients on their award, and said that it was vital that communities continued to acknowledge the contributions they made. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.